In this second video, we will explain the process of title registration as you have completed the first part of title verification. As per the current guidelines of the Registrar of Newspapers for India, you have to get your title registered within the time period as specified in the guidelines for title verification and registration. For title registration, you have to file the declaration form and submit it to the Office of District Magistrate. The pro forma for the declaration form is available in the pro forma tab under the registration menu on the RNI website, which is rni.nic.in. In this form of declaration, you have to carefully fill in the complete details as required under the PRB Act. Now, we will tell you how to fill out the form. Serial number 1 is the title of the newspaper that has been verified for you during the process of title verification. In the second column, you have to mention the language or languages which were specified during the title verification process. In column number 3, you have to specify the periodicity of the publication like daily, weekly, fortnightly or others. If your periodicity is not in the usual categories like once in 3 years, 4 times in 5 years, etc., then you can mention that specifically in the form. Next, in the retail selling price of the newspaper, which is serial number 4, you have to provide the retail selling price of the newspaper, which is per copy price of the newspaper, and also if you have any annual subscription rate for the newspaper, you have to specify that too. Coming to column 5, the publisher's name. Here, the owner of a newspaper can himself be the publisher, or he can appoint some person as a publisher for his newspaper. It is also important to mention the complete address along with the house number, PIN code and all the essential details so that the letters from RNI can reach you. Serial number 6 is the place of publication. Here, you have to mention the complete address of the office or place from where your paper will be published. Now coming to the printer column, that is column 7. As per the PRB Act, printer is a person who prints or holds the responsibility to print a newspaper. Please note that it is not necessarily the name of the owner of the printing press. If the owner or publisher is getting the newspaper printed from a press, then he can provide his name as the printer. Or if the owner is appointing someone else as a printer, then he can give that person's name in the printer column. But mind it, that if publisher and printer are different persons, then both have to file different declarations with the same details in their respective districts. Also, note that the printer or publisher and editor must be a person, while the owner can be a person or company, etc. In column number 8, you have to provide the name and complete address of the printing press. It is the name of the printing press like Cybographics, Mamta Offset, etc. The name of the press and details should match the actual registered name of the press under Section 4 of the PRB Act. The press keeper or the owner of the press has to register his press with the district magistrate or the local authorities under Section 4 of the PRB. So the name of the press specified in this column of the declaration form must match the name of the press in the Section 4 document. In column number 9, the complete editor's name, nationality and address are to be specified. When you print your issue, the issue must have the editor's name in the imprint line. Also, the editor must be a person. Coming to the owner's details in column 10. Owner's name must be the same which was given by the applicant in the title verification form. The owner can be a company, trust or an individual as per the PRB Act. In column 10B, you have to provide whether the owner owns any other newspaper. If so, complete details about other newspapers owned by the owner must be provided. In case this information is not provided and later on it is found that the owner has another publication in his name, then the RNI office can ask the district magistrate to cancel the declaration. So in the final column, that is number 11, you have to provide the following details. If you are starting a new newspaper and have got your title verified, you have to mention it's a new newspaper in column 11A. In case it's an existing newspaper and already registered with RNI and you are filing the declaration to change the particulars in the original certificate, then you have to specify the name and RNI number of the newspaper after selecting yes in column 11B. In 11C, you have to provide the reason for filing the declaration. Suppose you are changing the printer of the newspaper, then you have to specify the reason as for changing the printer. Or If it's to change the owner's name, you have to mention change of owner. If there are several changes, you have to specify all the changes. In case you're stopping the publication of an edition, you have to mention the reason as to cease this publication. Also, note that if you want to change only the editor or price or both of the newspaper and do not want a revised RNI certificate, then you can apply for the same without filing a declaration. In that case, only a letter from the publisher on his letterhead to the press registrar is sufficient, along with the latest copy of the publication with updated details. After filing out the form carefully, you have to submit the form to the DM office. The DM office will complete the further process and after authenticating the declaration, will send it to the RNI office for registration. The DM office can either post the signed declaration form to the office of RNI or email it to the official ID provided to the DM office by RNI. The publisher has the responsibility to send the first issue, which is to be published as Volume 1 and Issue 1 after the declaration is signed by the District Magistrate. Please mind that in the case of papers whose periodicity is weekly or less than weekly, then the first issue has to be published within a period of 6 weeks from the date of authentication, and for other periodicities, the first issue must be published within a period of 3 months from the date of District Magistrate's authentication. Now, we will discuss some special cases related to registration. What if your place of publication is in one district and the printing press is in another district? In that case, the publisher has to file the declaration from the place of publication and the printer has to file the declaration from the place of printing, which is the place where the press is located. In cases where the declaration contains 2 or more presses and if the presses are situated in different districts, then the printer has to file the declarations from all those districts in which the presses are located. If you already have an existing newspaper in a state and you want to start its new edition in the same state and same language, and if your new edition has just the change in periodicity, then you can file a declaration straight away. For that, no prior title verification is needed. But suppose you want to start a new edition in another language or another state or both, then you have to file for title verification first and get your title verified before registering the new edition. Please mind that if you are applying for registration of a new newspaper or new edition of a newspaper, you may first ensure that there is no penalty pending on your other publications due to non-filing of annual statements. It is also to be noted that an owner can appoint different publishers and printers for different editions, but an owner cannot appoint another owner or co-owner or transfer the ownership of an edition to other owners. In short, editions of a newspaper with the same title must belong to a single owner. So after all this, when your declaration is authenticated by DM and forwarded to the RNI office, you have to print the first issue with the correct imprint line and masthead. The imprint line should be legible and must have the name of the publisher, printer, editor, place of printing, and place of publication details. The masthead should have the title in a uniform font and must have details like volume, issue, year, place of publication, and price. The imprint line and masthead should also be printed in Hindi or English for other language publications. The format and rules applied for imprint line and masthead are available on the RNI website. In case of revised registration, you also have to send the original certificate issued along with the latest copy printed after the authentication of the declaration. If you have lost the original certificate of registration, then you have to send an affidavit claiming that the original certificate has been lost along with an IPO of ₹5. After receiving the declaration from the DM office and the first issue from the publisher, the RNI office will process the case for registration. RNI office will issue a registration certificate if the documents received are correct and complete. In case there is a discrepancy in the declaration, the publisher will be notified through a discrepancy letter, which will be available on the website of RNI and can be accessed through the registration status menu. As per the PRB Act, after the start of the publication, you have to submit printed copies to the office of DM and PIB offices of your state. You also have to file annual statements every year online between 1st April to 31st May. Non-submission of annual statements leads to a penalty of ₹1,000 every year. In case of any difficulty, publishers are requested to check the website of RNI for the proformas or the document checklist which are required for fresh and revised registration.